NFL Week 1 is finally arrived. We have a full Sunday slate of action. It is Austin, joined by Logan. We're going to dive into every single game, give out our favorite picks, leans, predictions, and everything in between. But first and foremost, Logan, how amped up are you that Sunday football? You can just sit back on your couch all day Sunday. How happy are you?
It's a great time to bet some sports. NFL, a lot of people on Twitter, I always see people saying NFL is my best sport. Yeah, early on, we love it. We love betting these games. We love trying to almost bet the board, predict how each of these games are going to go. And then by week 16, 17, we're like, oh my gosh, football is exhausting. But the NFL, it's a difficult sport to handicap, but it's so rewarding when you get those big parlays. So I love breaking down the slate with you in this.
I couldn't agree more with you. I'm excited to do every single game. They will all be timestamped down below. So if you want to skip around different games, we'll even go into the Monday Night Football game where my New York Jets are playing. But we'll talk about that at the end of the video. Before we dive into it, Caesars, great offer right now. If you want to sign up using the top link in description, they will, if you make your first bet and it loses, they'll give you your money back up to $1,000. So take advantage of that, get it paid back in bonus bets. So look at that. Details down below. Logan, let's dive into the games though today, and it doesn't feel right. It feels right to actually start with a team that has high expectations this year and a team that has the number one overall pick as Caleb Williams and the Bears play host to the Tennessee Titans. You have the Bears at -3.5. Over-unders at about 44.5, give or take. Is there anything you're looking at in this game with the number one overall pick?
Yeah, I have a pick in this game, a game that I'm going to have money on. I'm going to go ahead and take the Bears on with the spread on this one, laying all the points with Chicago. Now, normally the trend and what you'll see a lot of people is talking about fading the first overall pick. Normally they go to a really, really bad team in a rebuild situation. I think the Bears actually they rebuilt in the offseason and they gave Caleb Williams something to work with. Look at this receiving core. I mean, it's pretty stacked. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Keenan Allen, that's solid. Like, that is definitely in the top half of the league in terms of receiving core. And then you're facing a Titans secondary that we know they give up a ton of yards and points to opposing wide receivers. I think Caleb Williams can come out and have a really good game to start week 1. I think the Bears defense is definitely, they've gotten better in the offseason, improved that secondary depth a little bit. And yeah, I would definitely lean Chicago. I'd comfortably lay the points with the Bears in this one. I think they get the job done.
I kind of in the same breath as you. I do think that the Titans are going to be better than people expect. They did address their secondary a little bit. They got L'Jarius Sneed, obviously the Chiefs, arguably their best corner last year. I like the Titans season long. I don't know if I'll back them in week 1. I think this is a very solid team. I actually kind of like the over though in this game. The Bears have a very solid, defense, but I really think Will Levis will continue to stretch the field. It might lead to some turnovers, which might set up the Bears with some good field position. I kind of like the over though. If I had bet anything, I lean the Bears with you, but I like the over a little bit more in that game in Chicago. Hopefully it's a good one. Bears fans, if they lose that one, they'll be an absolute shambles, but we'll see how that game goes. Next one, we move on as Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Atlanta to take on Falcons and Captain Kirk Cousins, the new QB for the Falcons. They have a new head coach in Raheem Morris, the new offensive coordinator as well. The Steelers, the new QB as well with Russell Wilson. This is if there's anything I'm betting here, Logan, I kind of like the under. I think a lot of people are going to be high on points here. I just think Kirk Cousins will take a few games to get gelled with all of his wide receivers, Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts. Their running attack will be pretty solid, and I don't know if the Steelers will be great at stopping the run this season, but on the other side, I don't trust the Steelers to put up points at all. This is a 3.5 point spread. I think it's a tight game, a lower scoring game. If I'm betting anything here, give me the under. But is there anything else you looked at, spread or over underwise?
Yeah, I would agree with you. My pick in this game would be the under 41.5. Again, it's week 1 in the NFL. We've seen in a couple of the games that have already been played a few sloppy, football plays for sure. I think this one was no exception. Russell Wilson's going to take him time to really gel in that Pittsburgh offense. Again, what are we even going to see from this Pittsburgh offense? What's their identity going to be? We have questions there. I don't think they're going to come out of the gate just lighting it up, put up 28 points in this one. Don't really see it. And then on the flip side, Atlanta's offense, again, Kirk Cousins, I think it takes time for him to gel in that offense. I think they're going to lean heavy on the run with Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, all that sort of stuff. I think both these defenses are pretty strong. Give me the under. I would agree with you in that one.
So we're doing a little squad ride second game, man. Hey, we love that. Hey, what could go wrong? What could go wrong, baby? I like the under there. If I had to pick a winner, I honestly don't know. I don't like betting against the Steelers, but I do lean the Falcons. But either way, let's move to the next game. The Battle of Florida. So we have the Jaguars taking on the Dolphins. Obviously, Tampa, we'll get their game in a little bit, but you have the Dolphins as slight favorites, 3.5. Over under, one of the highest ones on the board, 49.5. Are you leaning with the Dolphins, or are you going to be a little contrarian and take the Jags?
Yeah, I thought about this one. And again, when you're picking an NFL slate, you can pick a mix of contrarian or public picks. This one, I lean pretty heavy with the public in this one. I like the Dolphins, and I would lay the points in this one. I just think McDaniel's offense is really hard to stop, especially in those first few weeks. We've seen what they've done over the past few years. They really don't hold back in these early weeks with the crazy offensive gadgety type plays. I think Jacksonville is definitely caught off guard in this one. I think Miami's offense just too powerful. And that's, I think, why we see the over-under at 49.5. I think the bulk share of those points are actually from Miami. I think the Dolphins win this one pretty comfortably. Again, you can get kind of get sharp, or you can get contrarian, take the points with Jacksonville, but that couldn't be me. I mean, I really don't see Miami losing this game. I think they get it done. And I think they win pretty comfortably, a touchdown at least. I think we just see a short spread because maybe the books don't really know how to price Jacksonville.
Yeah, we've talked about the last few years. The Dolphins offense seems to cool down when the weather cools down. Well, it's going to be a hot day in Miami. Confident of that. So I lean with you there. I think if this were like a week 14 and you got the Dolphins as 11-2 or something crazy, and the Jags coming in here at 500, probably lean towards the Jags, but I don't think they're going to put a big spread here. I don't even think we have a big spread. So I think the biggest spread on the slate is actually in the next game. I do like the Dolphins as well with you. Next game, like I said, biggest spread on the board. Patriots going up against the Bengals. The Bengals 7.5-point favorites. They're big juiced on the money line, 40.5 total here. Joe Burrow obviously makes his return. The question mark here is who the heck is starting for the Bengals at wide receiver? T. Higgins was a random pop-up on the injury report. He's now doubtful. I don't think he plays. Jamar Chase has been in the news for the last few weeks about his contract holdout. Will he play? He hasn't been in practice for a ton this year. And then you were expecting hopefully Drake May would start for the Patriots, but no, they got Jacoby Brissett. To me, it screams under. Do you have any other lean over here, Logan?
I mean, gosh, taking the Patriots with the points is just so nasty week one.
Ew, just get it all. You take the Patriots and they lose by 14, you feel like an idiot.
I would feel dumb there. Gosh, slight lean, I guess, to the under with you. It really is tough to find where the points are going to come. How sharp is this Patriots offense going to be out of the gate? I don't think all that sharp. Again, you mentioned all those injury concerns with Cincinnati. I mean, the Patriots want to play a 2 clock possession type style football. We know what they want to do. Cincinnati, are they just going to come out guns a-blazing? Probably not. So I think the under is probably the safer look in that one, but a game that I'm not really rushing out to bed, especially with the high spread in that one.
I'm going to be watching Red Zone, and I am imagining that game does not come up a lot on Red Zone.
Very
we
true.
might see it once or twice. The Patriots aren't getting into the Red Zone, and the Bengals, I feel like they're scoring it from 30 yards out. That's going to be an interesting one. Probably not a game I'm betting, but I do lean the under there. Next one, we actually have a big divisional matchup, week 1. Texans going to Indy to take on the Colts. Colts short dogs at home. They're plus 2.5. Texans minus 2.5. 48.5 total. So one of the higher ones on the board. Logan, I heard, is there word on the street you might be riding with the underdog Colts here?
There is. And this would be probably one of my more confident picks because, we can bet the board. We can bet every single thing we want. But if you don't identify which picks you like the best, well, then I think you're betting it wrong. Colts would be my probably more confident play in this one. Divisional home underdogs have covered at a 79.3% rate in NFL week 1.
That's week 1.
Since 2009. Yes, I had to dive into my bag there. They're almost covering at an 80% rate in week 1 games over the past decade, pretty much. I like the underdog Colts in this one. Yes, are the Texans flashy? Are they the sexy pick? Probably, right? Because we know how offensively talented they are with C.J. Stroud, and now they got Stephon Diggs. How long does it take to integrate Stephon Diggs into the offense? Probably a little bit. Anthony Richardson with Jonathan Taylor. That's a pretty formidable red zone attack. I think the Colts are able to potentially win this game outright. I would not be shocked if they won this game at all. I still have question marks on the Texans defense. Will they even be able to stop Jonathan Taylor? I think Jonathan Taylor has a pretty good game in this one. They play more ball control type offense. We got to remember how good this Colts team was when Anthony Richardson was healthy. I mean, they looked they looked pretty dang good at times.
Well, like half a game he was healthy, maybe.
I mean, yeah. See, it was a short little stint that he was healthy, but they still looked good. And I still think the Colts defense is going to be a lot better than people expect. I like the rookie Latu that they drafted. Give me the Colts in this divisional home underdog role. I do like them a lot today.
I don't want to fade you. I honestly, this is kind of a pass of a game for me. I don't really have a pick. I can see it going either way, and I think that's kind of how it's priced. I do kind of like the Colts like you do. I just don't like Anthony Richardson. Everyone's way too hyped on him. And as Gator alum, the bro can't throw the ball. So if the Texans just load up the box and force him to throw, I'm just not too but I agree, if they are going to win this game, they got to control and they got to convert on third down. That's where this game is going to be decided. If the Colts can stay on the field on offense, I think they'll be able to put up points, and their defense should be decent enough to slow down CJ Stroud on that offense. I think people sometimes overvalue those offseason acquisitions. Now, if you were to look at Derrick Henry on Thursday night, you'd be like, yeah, that's kind of overvalued. If you were to look at Saquon Barkley on Friday night, you might be like, all right, maybe that's reasonably valued because he went off. But not a pick I really have a lot of confidence in that game. Honestly, something I'm not feeling well right now. Oh, that's because I just looked at the next game on the board. Vikings Giants. I mean, call the number if we're betting on this one. Does anyone have a strong lean here? Anyone in the comments section? Logan, do you have anything you like here besides hopefully never seeing it on Red Zone?
Yeah, if people have a pick in this game, please go down in the comments. Let me know what you're betting and tell me how confident you are in this one, because the game is priced as a coin flip. If you're making a full NFL slate parlay, I suggest you flip a coin and figure out who you're betting in this one. Because honestly, do you want to come out week one back and Sam Darnold? I personally don't. You want to come out week one?
Ghost back in East Rutherford.
Yeah, exactly. We know his deal there. And then you want to come out week one betting Danny Dimes? Not really. Probably the lean would be the under in this one. If I had to bet a side in this one, it would probably just be the under, just because both these teams' offenses. I mean, I'm not really believers in either of them. I don't think they've addressed what they needed to address. Minnesota, what's their identity? New York, what's their identity? I mean, you want to drop back a bunch with Danny? No, I don't think so.
This feels like a game that goes under on a Sunday. Throw it on a Thursday night. It's like 31-28. It's a good game for no reason. But that's just, I feel like, how sometimes the NFL schedule works. I'm not betting that one. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not. We're both passing. Next game, Logan, you're not wearing your Panthers jersey, your jersey, whatever you want to call it, but your Panthers are on the road in New Orleans. Another divisional matchup. Are you buying the hype on Dave Canales? 3.5-point dogs on the road. You think they can pull off a little upset or cover today?
Yeah, so if I'm looking at this game, I think there will be times where we can comfortably bet the Panthers because, I think they will be better this year. It's hard to be worse. Last year, they were borderline unwatchable at times for me, but not in this spot. This is New Orleans -3.5. Feel pretty confident in that one. I don't see the Panthers going into New Orleans week one and shocking them. So the question is, can the Saints win by the 4 points needed? I think so. Maybe you in a parlay, you maybe bet them down to 2.5 or 3 for a little bit of safety. That line could be a little bit sharp. Obviously, Bryce Young now has an extra wide receiving weapon in Deontay Johnson. That will help. But again, I think it takes time. I think this Panthers defense is definitely not where they need to be. I question a lot about their secondary. I think Chris Olave could have a big game. I think Derek Carr could. I think the Saints offense is just simply better than Carolina. I don't think Carolina is there yet. It's gonna take several weeks for them to get there. But I do like New Orleans in this one.
Yeah, I'm riding with you too. I like the Saints minus the 3.5. I feel like both these two teams in the offseason, you've seen a ton of Panthers love. A lot of people expect bigger things from them. Not they're going to win the division and things like that. But you expect Dave Canales to maybe teach Bryce Young a few things. I mean, we've seen Dave Canales they call him the QB whisperer based on what he did with Geno, what he did last year with Baker. On the other side, you have the Saints. No one likes the Saints this year. Everyone is telling them either trash, they're too old, all of this and that. Derek Carr sucks. We've seen the Saints, I feel like they're best when people are counting them out. I don't think Derek Carr's terrible. I think, is he the best QB in the world? No, but I think he can beat a Panthers team. Like you said, I don't trust their defense a whole lot, and I just don't know if Bryce Young will be on it. Snap one with Deontay Johnson. I wouldn't be shocked if we maybe future videos of these breakdown styles were back in the Panthers. I just don't know if this is the right game to do it in week one. So I'm right with you. I'm on the Saints as well there. Next thing, we actually have a one that I'm excited to watch, a high total out in Orchard Park as the Buffalo Bills play host to the Cardinals. Bills are minus 6.5-point favorites. I kind of like the Bills here, but I feel like I might be on the over. I don't know, Logan. You have anything here? I kind of going back and forth on this game.
Yeah, let me persuade you. Let me try to get you on my side. I like the over a lot in this one. You mentioned it's one of the higher totals on the slate. I think Buffalo's defense definitely takes a step back. I mean, I really have questions about their secondary. Arizona's offense with, Marvin Harrison Jr., obviously Maserati Marv. You got a new wide receiver to integrate. Tell me you don't see Arizona trying to, throw a lot in this game, because I think they will. I think that's what their identity is going to be. I don't really see them running the ball a lot in this one. And if that's the case, well, they might get in an old-fashioned shootout with Josh Allen and the Bills. I think obviously a lot of the attention from Buffalo has been the departure of Stephon Diggs. I think they'll be just fine offensively. I think they'll have enough to get over this total. It's 47.5. I mean, do you really think the Cardinals are going to play a whole lot of defense week one? No. I don't really think the Bills are going to play, their more playoff type defensive style. Give me the over. I think it's set high, but high for a reason.
I'm running right there with you. I like the over. I think I lean that more so than the Bills, minus the points. I feel like the Cardinals are always the team that get down 10, 14, 0, and then they just start clawing back and they just start throwing it nonstop, which is kind of why I like the over. The Bills' offense, was good last year, but it's not like Stephon Diggs was great the second half of the season. They kind of transformed more towards a running offense. I think that's what they're going to be doing a lot more this year, and I think they'll be a lot more efficient. You won't see as many Josh Allen interceptions where he's trying to throw it 40 yards down the field to Gabe Davis or Stephon Diggs. He's going to take his shots when he needs to, but a lot of crossing routes and things like that, and maybe they break some tackles, and those lead to some big plays. I don't hate their wide receiver room. Khalil Shakir. They got the Florida State freshman, or rookie Keon Coleman. I kind of like their team. I like their squad, but I like the over a little bit more here in this game. I feel like the Cardinals are going to be an over wagon this year. This feels like a team that's defense, absolutely a disaster, but on offense, Maserati Marv, Trey McBride, James Conner, the rookie, Trey Benson. I kind of like them to put up some points here. Give me the over. Next game, Raiders going to take on the Chargers. We have a bunch of different moves here. Obviously, we have Harbaugh, now the head coach of the Chargers. The Raiders have Gardner Minshew as their starting QB. Devontae Adams been in the news trashing the Chargers left and right because they were trashing him. I don't know what the hell's going on in this one. All I know is it's a 39.5-point total, which might be the lowest on the board. Logan, you buying into any of the hype on either of these two teams, if there is any?
Yeah, this game would pretty much be a pass for me. I just think it's a divisional coin flip. And if it's coin flip, do we have to bet it? No. But if you guys want to make a full slate parlay and you're just like, I need a pick for this game, I'd probably lean with the Raiders plus the points. I actually looked at this and I was like, yeah, Chargers feels like that feels like a good side to be on. But Justin Herbert has some injury questions. And if he's not fully right in this one, I don't really want any part of the Chargers. I think the Raiders are going to be sort of a pesky team this year. No one really wants to bet Gardner Minshew and the Raiders, but I think this is a big Devontae Adams year. And if I'm seeing it correctly, I think the Raiders should just be fine offensively. Again, losing a guy like Josh Jacobs, not ideal, but in what I figure to be a lower scoring game, obviously with the total low, I probably lean Raiders. But guys, I mean, this is like bottom of the barrel confidence. Like, just don't put your house on that, please.
I mean, the problem with this game is that it's in the 4 o'clock window. So when you've lost all your coin in the 1 o'clocks, you got to start forcing some stuff. Yes. So we only got so many games to force, man. I'm passing on this game. I like the Chargers season long. They have a lot of moving pieces. I mean, Herbert's still there, but obviously injured. Completely new running back room. No longer Austin Eckler. You have J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards and Kamani Vidal from Troy. So I like him. But Lad McConkey, the wide receiver room, no Mike Williams or Keenan Allen. I just think there's a lot of different moving pieces here. I think this is a lower scoring game. Obviously, the books do think that too at 39.5. I just don't want to take an under there. I'm just avoiding the game, if I'm being honest. I'll avoid it and go to some other 4 o'clock window games, which we'll move to the next one. We're going out to Seattle. where the Seahawks play host to the Broncos with Bo Nix starting at QB. A lot of people didn't know what was going to happen with the Broncos QB room. Jared Stidham, they traded for Zach Wilson, but it's going to be the rookie Bo Nix starting. And then you got obviously Seattle, who's 5.5, 6-point favorites, over under 41.5. Logan, you buying into the Bo Nix hype, or are you going to back the Seahawks at home?
I'm gonna buy into the Bo Nix hype a little bit. I like Denver with all the points in this one. Again, I like to look at the slate and I still like to mix a combination of sharp spots versus public spots. I think this is a sharp spot to get the Broncos. Again, you don't go with a rookie quarterback unless you have supreme confidence in him, unless you're just trying to throw him out into the fire week one. Obviously, they like what Bo Nix is going to be able to provide for this offense. Again, I really do think the Broncos defense plays up to caliber in this one. I think they get some crucial stops. I think Bo Nix just does just enough to keep this game as like a one possession game where maybe the Seattle has to kick a field goal or stuff. Look, this total and the line is going to be pretty sharp in this one. I think we see a back and forth game. Maybe not a whole lot of offense, but enough offense from Denver to get this one done. I mean, look, this is a 4:00 trap spot for Seattle. Again, also you mentioned you lose in the 1:00. Well, where are you looking in the 4:00? I think what people might
Seahawks money lines in all my parlays.
Exactly. I think you might look to fade the rookie quarterback making his first road start. I mean, give me the Broncos. It is a little bit of a prayer with Bo Nix, but I think it's a prayer he answers. Give me the Broncos.
I'm kind of in the same breath as you. I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to create their teasers and things like that. And I feel like Seahawks are in that teaser because you can tease them down. Tease probably over the 0, which I don't normally recommend, but whatever. I like the Broncos. I think the Seahawks' strength of their team is that secondary. But Bo Nix, in his first start, I just don't see him stretching the field and throwing it deep. That's never something he did really much at Oregon. I think it's going to be a lot of dump offs to the tight ends, a lot of passes maybe to Javonte Williams and the running backs, and I think maybe they move the ball like that. Their defense is still question marks. They got Pat Surtain. I think they just extended him the other day. Outside of him, I don't know where the rest of the defense is, but I argue they can't be worse than they were last year. They were one of the worst defenses. You don't get a 70 burger hung up on you and not be a pretty trash defense. But I do like this the Broncos with you as well. I'll probably be taking them plus 5.5. You can probably get a plus 6 or something out there. See if the Broncos and Bo Nix can cover. Next game, we have the Cowboys going on the road to take on the Deshaun Watson-led Cleveland Browns. The Browns are a little bit favored, minus 2.5, minus 135 on the money line. This isn't the biggest storyline here, though, Logan. In the booth, first ever game, Tom Brady is in the booth today in this game, so that'll be interesting. But Cowboys, short dogs on the road. Do you think the boys can come through after an interesting offseason at plus Chicky?
They might. Again, the spread in this one to me is more of a coin flip game. I think you and I both see eye to eye in this one. I think we were talking about it before we hit record. Under. I mean, that's the play in this one. Again, Dallas, interesting offseason. CD Lamb, will he, won't he get extended? Well, he finally did. So obviously he's, Dak has his primary receiver back. But again, these two teams play pretty solid defense. I mean, we know what Cleveland's identity is. We know exactly what they want to do. They want to control the clock. They want to play solid defense, win the battle, at the line of scrimmage. I think that's what they do in this one. Why are they pretty comfortable favorites? I mean, 2.5 against a flashy. The public will definitely be on Dallas at plus money for sure. I don't even need to check the splits in that one. I know where the public will be. But with just a talented defensive line, like Myles Garrett, I think they make Dak very uncomfortable in the pocket. I don't see Dallas putting up a whole lot of points. And when I don't see Dallas contributing a lot to the total, do I see Cleveland really? Not really. I think week one, this one screams an under for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to bet anything here. I kind of like the under. Player prop I was looking at is Brandon Aubrey over in field goals. I think the Cowboys will be able to move the ball a little bit. I mean, I trust CD, and I feel like with the new kickoffs and stuff like that, you're starting on the 30. So I think it's hard to adjust those totals because, that's 5 less yards you got to kind of go down there and get. I do like Brandon Aubrey, though, field goals. I feel like the Cowboys will be able to move the ball a little bit. But when you get to the red zone, that Browns front, and they're just super, super elite. And I don't know where the Cowboys rushing attack is coming from. I mean, Ezekiel Elliott, his corpse is back there, and then Rico Dowdle. I just don't know what they're going to do here. So I think they get to the red zone here and there. and then they probably struggle a little bit. So maybe Brandon Aubrey field goals. I didn't say at the top of the show, all the best bets will be in a separate video after this one with some more props and long shots and things like that. It's kind of what I'm looking there. Next one, we talked about Caleb Williams at the beginning of the show. Now we got to talk about the second overall pick, Jaden Daniels, who goes down nearby to me as he's taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks short favorites, -3.5, 42.5 total. I'll be straight with you, Logan. I kind of like, I'm going back and forth. I kind of like the over in this game. And maybe it's wrong. I just think Jaden Daniels can be able to move the football against the Bucks. Their defense that I'm not very high on. Think they can move the football. And on the other side, I don't trust the Commanders secondary at all. And I feel like the Bucks last year, they were running the ball 3 million times with Rashad White. I don't think they're as run heavy as they are this season. And I think they'll be able to use Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, get down the field. I like the over. Give me the over 42.5. But you like the under, or you like the Commanders, Bucks? What do you like?
I like the Bucks in this one. I need to see it from Daniels first. Obviously, we know what kind of his makeup is. He's going to be a running type quarterback, maybe Lamar Jackson-esque. Quarterbacks that I don't think can comfortably sit back in the pocket and read a defense, especially in their rookie debut. I have to fade guys like that, and it's not necessarily saying the Bucks are the strongest defense, but I think they will make life pretty difficult on Daniels. And I don't trust this Commanders secondary. They might be one of the worst units in football. They don't know who their starting corners are week to week. I mean, they were all off season long. Their guys were getting toasted in training camps and preseason. I think Baker Mayfield, obviously with some continuity there. This Bucs team overachieved last year, and I think they do so once again this year. I think they're a sneaky team. The fact that we're only having to lay 3.5 points with them week one, I think, is a gift. I think the Bucs win this one by a touchdown.
Yeah, I was just going to look up some props in this game because obviously Todd Bowles is always a creative, defensive-minded head coach. Mm-hmm. It's looking at Jaden Daniels' interception. It's -140. Definitely not the most juiced I've seen. I haven't really looked at a ton of them. I know Will Levis is pretty juiced for interception props for overs. I could see them maybe forcing a turnover or two on the rookie. Wouldn't shock me. I don't hate your Bucks read. I think there's points, though, in this game. I mean, you already talked about the Commanders' defense. And I think their front seven, solid. Those cornerbacks are just a disaster, and that's tough when you got a matchup against Mike Evans, who is going for his 1,000-yard season in the 40th season of his career. I mean, he's just so consistent. Chris Godwin, so good. And I got some new playmakers. Bucky Irving should have a pretty decent rookie campaign. So I do like some points in that game. Next one, we go to Sunday Night Football. We get to see a rematch of a playoff game. Matthew Stafford heading back with his Rams to the Detroit Lions, who have very high expectations this season. I don't think Lions fans have had this high of expectations in maybe ever. People are really high on them. They are 4.5-point favorites. The highest total on the board, 52.5. Logan, is there anything you're looking at here?
Yeah, this one was a tough read for me. Obviously, you'd like to expect points from these two teams. My slight lean would be the Lions, and I'd lay the points with them. Look, you didn't make money fading the Lions last year. They are just a gritty team. They have Dan Campbell's identity left and right. I mean, they win the battle line of scrimmage, and teams that do that, I comfortably back. And I just think the identity of the Lions is there. With Laporta, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, they want in the red zone. They're going to pound you with David Montgomery. I like the Lions significantly in this one. I think they are able to put up points on a Rams defense that I expect them to be probably more the bottom tier of the league. Don't really have high hopes for them. Can Matthew Stafford do his thing? Sure, but again, is there injury concerns with Cooper Kupp? I don't know. I mean, we've been hearing rumblings about him. Puka is their wide receiving room fully healthy? I don't really know. So give me the Lions in that one.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you. I like the Lions minus the 4.5. I really like what they did this offseason, trying to address those cornerbacks, which obviously struggled last year. Carlton Davis in there, plus some other guys did lose C.J. Gardner-Johnson to the Eagles. But I like what they did there, and I also really like what they did on their D-line. Their defensive line were the best units last season. They went and got DJ Reader, who, if you don't know anything about him, one of the best run stuffers in the NFL. Now, he is questionable. He was a limited participant on Friday. But, man, he is legit, and it wouldn't surprise me if this season we're taking a lot of unders for rushing yards for guys against the Detroit Lions. Just an elite unit there. So I like the Lions on offense a little bit more than the Rams. And I like their defense a little bit more. Obviously, Aaron Donald retired, so the Rams don't have as big of a threat. I mean, Aaron Donald teams had a game plan for him because he was such a record up front. So I think it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for the Rams. I think the Lions win this one by a touchdown. So I'm with you. I like them minus the 4.5. I think that's a very high scoring game, though, but give me the Lions minus the points. And then finally, final game on the slate, New York Jets. Monday Night Football. If Aaron Rodgers gets injured, Jets fans might do some bad things. But here we go. We're in Santa Clara taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Logan, you want to back my Jets with me?
All right, come on, let's do it together. Jets, Jets. Yeah, give me the Jets in this one. And I like the Jets plus all the points. I know. You're ready to get hurt again. Last time we saw Aaron Rodgers in a Jets uniform, if you went on a commercial to go get some food or something, you came back to Aaron Rodgers on the sideline. You're like, what the heck happened? Yeah, give me the Jets. I still really do like this Jets offensive outlook this year. Again, that's what I have no questions about the Jets defense. I think they're going to be a really elite unit. Now you have Garrett Wilson, maybe some continuity with Aaron Rodgers. You've got Breece Hall in the backfield. I think that's enough to get the job done in this one. I think this is more of a field goal type game. And then we have questions about the 49ers. Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, Hufanga, I think's on the PUP list. I think this one's Jets on the road. It's going to be a gritty game. This Jets team will be out to make a statement week one because they're one of those us against the world type teams. That's what it feels like. The Niners are to me like more happy and complacent with what they've done, having success last year. I still think this Jets team is the move. Can it be scary fading all those great offensive weapons for San Francisco? Sure, but I still think the Jets have enough up front to be able to counteract that.
Yeah, I'm ready to get hurt, man. Add the Jets to my card. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so
Wow.
good. But for the reasons you said, I think this being a 43.5 point total, one of the lower ones we've seen. I think you'd rather have the underdogs plus the points. Obviously, the Jets, they've hurt me in way too many ways. But I think with that defensive line, they won't need to pressure and send a lot of blitzes at Brock Purdy. But if they can get some pressure and some, they have their defense is really, really good. So if they can get some pressure on Brock Purdy, make him a little uncomfortable, we've seen some games he might struggle if that's the case. Kind of saw the Ravens do that to him last year. So I could see the Jets. I'd rather take the 4.5 than laying the 5 with them. So with the Niners. So give me the Jets. Let's get hurt together, Logan. We're rolling with them on Monday Night Football. We'll obviously have a separate video for that posted probably on Sunday evening. But that's going to be our favorite picks for this slate. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and stuck around. If you did, do us a favor, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll link our best bets video with all our props, parlays, long shots, and stuff like that. I'll link that on the screen once it is live. You guys have a great Sunday. Good luck. Don't blow your whole bankroll. But if you do, there's always next week to get it back, baby. We'll see you guys back again in the next one. Peace.